Excellent. So, welcome to Tails and Tackle, Vancouver Island, again, everyone, for our third episode. This is exciting. Tonight we have with us Freddy Landman. He was the winner of the most recent Western Fishing League small craft on Elk Beaver Lake, which is absolutely great. So, we're going to get to chatting with him in just a minute. In the meantime, this show is brought to you by Black Label Craft Jerky. You can find this at a few of the markets on the South Island, or just contact this channel or me if you figure out who I am and all that sort of fun stuff. But let's jump right into it. So, Freddie, thank you so much for your time and for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Eric. Thanks for inviting me. Good to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great day on the water. I was able to get out on the lake a little bit during the event on Saturday, and I was able to talk to a few of the guys. You and I exchanged a couple of waves from a little way away. I think I pulled up there just after you had a little bit of success, but I don't want to tell the story. Tell us about the day. Tell us how it went for you.
Yeah, man. Actually, so obviously, we're on the mainland, Wesley Duplessis and myself. So, we came up on Friday evening, stayed at a buddy, and got the ferry across and started bright and early. I think we were at the launch site by 5. I kind of had a game plan. So just so you know, this was probably only my third time fishing elk, so I don't actually know that very well. The first time was the last year's competition.
Okay.
Obviously, I relied on Wesley giving me a bit of info on that, and I actually did pretty well that one too. So I think I came second. So my game plan was being the same kind of time of the season. Um, I kind of went with my game plan from last year, or what worked for me. And
Right.
anyway, we decided to launch at the Beaver side, the park. I forget, what it's called, but the top side.
Beaver Lake Beach or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And my goal was to go and fish the two islands on Beaver, because
Yeah.
that's where I had my success last year. So I kind of stuck it out there for most of the morning. I think I picked up a fish. My first fish was about 7:30.
Okay.
Um, I tried moving baits. I kind of knew that everyone was going to throw a spanner around. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not going to actually I'm not going to throw one around. I
Just
actually
so everybody knows, I did catch my personal best just a few days earlier. 6 pounds, 3 ounces on a spinnerbait. So,
I did try a few moving baits, not even a touch. So I decided, well, knowing what the season is, and we had just fished Salt Spring the previous weekend. Those fish were up on beds, so I kind of knew they were either going to be very late pre-spawn slash spawn. So I just targeted those shallow areas, and eventually I picked up one. I think it was like a 14 incher, and then I promise you it went so quiet. 9:30, I eventually picked up that 21-inch smallie on actually a wacky.
okay.
Um, and actually on a rod that I've just kind of set up. I've just bought myself the new Shimano BFS.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and so it was actually on 7 pound line. Um, I actually paired it up with a jerkbait rod from St. Croix. I think it's a uh, medium action extra fast. Sorry, I've got it written down here. 7 foot halo sorry, St. Croix. Um, yeah, man, and it was a beautiful fight.
Oh, I can only imagine. That's
Yeah, so
that's
actually that
your
fish
heart was
came off a
good.
rocky area on a bank between the two islands there.
Yep.
Shallow, actually, probably in about 3 or 4 foot of water. Yeah, as it came down, you know how the wacky obviously works. As it
Yep.
hit, I just saw the line moving. Like I didn't even feel the bite. I was just watching the line,
Nice.
set the hook. But yeah, the rest of the morning was so quiet. I picked up fish here and there. And then I got to that corner where I met up with you. I think it was
Yeah.
8 o'clock. And that's when I promise you all hell broke loose. Literally in half an hour, I caught 6 fish, upgraded, and caught, those two big largies, 21 and 20 respectively. Yeah. And
So
that
now, as
so
an
that
aside,
yeah,
as
yeah.
an aside, just for our viewers, if I come up to you on the lake during an event like that, see, you can still catch fish. I'm in the vicinity, so don't worry. I try to be quiet and I come up stealthily.
Yeah, yeah, you did come up stealthy, and I was still so focused. I'm sorry if I came off a bit rude. I was still quite in like a zone there at the moment.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, like literally the day that my day was saved in literally half an hour.
Yeah,
I caught those fish, and then I think at 2:30 I caught another upgrade on the way back to where we launched, and yeah, so I can show you exactly what I was using.
beautiful.
It was a Gary Yamamoto wacky. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks great.
And it was on a jungle wacky weedless jungle. That was what on the smallie though. And
That's
the
a 5 incher there, right?
yeah, yeah, 5 inch. This is the black with blue fleck. And then the largies all came off um little secret, but a weightless D-shad. I don't know if you guys sorry, can see that.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, a little fluke.
little fluke. And
Nice.
this guy, weightless, shimmering down like that, did the deal. So yeah, that was on a 4-aught, paired with a 4-aught hook. And yeah, I was just targeting. So where the lily pads and the kind of the sticks were, that
Yeah,
seemed to be kind of the zone that they were in, or where they were bedding, as
on the outside edges
just
of
on the
all
outside
this.
edges. Yeah, correct. And yeah, just flipping. I'm a flip man. Like I enjoy flipping. I come from South Africa where a lot of we call them dams, but lakes have a lot of structure, a lot of reeds. So, punching is, that's what I grew up doing. And
Right.
Beaver kind of plays into that for me. And,
Yeah,
but yeah, I was flipping that around and just letting it sink, man, and just waiting. The bites were subtle, very subtle. But yeah, if you're not watching that line, like I lost a lot of fish not watching that line that day.
I heard that from a lot of anglers on the water that the bite was incredibly subtle, and
Yeah,
that a lot of people lost a lot of fish that were
yeah. I
either
mean,
just lightly
I lost
hooking and
count.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
So now
luckily the ones that I did stick were the good ones, right?
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you're back on the mainland, then what are you fishing? Are you fishing what lakes and bodies of water are you fishing on the mainland?
Honestly, man, like we during winter, obviously it's quiet, so we don't do much fishing out here. I've gone out to Pit Meadows a few times. It's just tricky to launch, I fish on a pontoon, actually, the one that's in the back picture there. Um,
Is that a stealthy angler pontoon?
uh, yeah, so we brought so Wes and I brought our boats over from South Africa.
Oh,
I've
nice.
been fishing with that for the last 5, 6 years now.
Love it.
So yeah, brought it over. I had to, you know. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so yeah, Pit Meadows. We've gone as far as like Vasu Lake and stuff like that. But we're generally fishing the island. We get on a ferry and do our
Oh,
thing.
that's great.
Yeah, yeah. There's not much going on here, to be honest. That apparently the Hatsik Lake has got some giants, but I have yet to go there.
I've heard there's stuff up at Cultus Lake,
Yeah,
but that's a
more
that's a bit of a
smallies though.
crazy
But
lake, though.
yeah, I haven't made it out there yet. Maybe worth a try. Maybe worth a try. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're coming down and you're fishing, so you fished beaver a couple of times now. Have you fished it when the weeds have been up? I know on the water, I was fishing there last week, seeing
Yeah.
it this weekend.
Yeah.
The water is actually pretty good and not
Yeah, so
not
if I
full of
remember
gunk.
last year, it was actually a lot weedier um, compared to this year. I mean, I think there's a month difference to when we kind of fished it last year versus this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely a lot more grass, and yeah, the water did seem a slightly cleaner, but yeah, it not too much difference, I guess. But yeah, so like I said, I've only fished it a handful of times. The
Right.
second time I fished it was just me by myself. I did work on the island and I brought my boat over and I shot actually just decided to fish elk and concentrated on some smallies, but then actually landed some big largies in some of there too,
Yeah.
using top water. I think it was the D-man toad weightless,
Okay.
and
Nice.
absolutely crushed that. So, but
Yeah, top
that
water
was
bite
later
is
in the
pretty
season.
special.
Yeah, yeah, I love top water. I was actually throwing a buzz bait in the morning, hoping for a
Oh,
blow.
nice.
Yeah, but was unsuccessful.
My favorite is a spook. I love throwing a spook. I
Yeah,
can do
that's
that all
also one of my
day.
go-tos, I will be honest. But yeah, definitely need some open water for those trefoils, eh?
Well, yeah, you try to cast around some of the branches, and You can do it if you're real good at casting,
Yeah,
but
well, yeah, you gotta be quite accurate.
yeah, because I'll tell you those double trebles get caught up in branches like nobody's business.
Yeah, just irritating.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a couple more events coming up here in the Western Fishing League. We've got on May 18th, we got the Boater Series, next Boater Series on elk. And then we were at Langford Lake on May 25th for the next small craft. Now, I will note that those are both on Sundays. Like we did last year, the WFL is alternating days of the weekend for the events so that we open it up to more people so that, some people's schedules don't allow them to go on Saturday, so they never get a chance. So hopefully this gives more people a kick at the can of getting involved in a local event. So that's really great. Then so that next event on the 18th is elk. Freddie, any advice for that's a couple of weeks away, so a lot can change. But any
Yeah, a
advice
lot
for the
can change.
boaters?
I definitely think the spawn will probably be over by then. And to be honest, that'll probably be the same time we fished last year. So,
Mm.
from what I know now, I think I'd still stick to kind of the same lows. I think that they definitely still hit those. Um, Depends, how late. Early post spawn can be quite difficult, but if you catch them in that later post spawn, they're going to be hungry. So
When
they
they're
could
when they're
probably,
done when they're
yeah,
done recovering and are
yeah,
feeding
they're
up.
going to be
Yeah.
recovering. If they're in that recovery period, you might have to slow down quite a bit to try and get them to bite. But if they're in that past that stage, yeah, it could be fun for them. So it could be a good tournament where they're eating everything, moving baits, you know. But
Nice,
yeah, for me, I'd probably definitely still stick to what I was using now. Um, I think last year was the same time that they're going to be fishing, so I know those
nice,
also worked at that time.
awesome. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our time here together, Freddie. Thank you again for your time this evening. Very, very much appreciated. You're giving your time to this little channel. But I do know that the people that we have watching really appreciate kind of the insight. And, that was a hell of a bag that you pulled in. So you obviously know what you're doing. And again, your time is so appreciated, brother.
Thank you so much. It was awesome. Thank you.